It's AJ and today it's Monday and you know what that means. It's Manga Monday. Woo! And today we have a new one. Shock, horror. Wait, it's not yaoi. It's not completely dark fantasy. It is a series that I love dear to my heart. I have the figures, I have the clothing, and I also have a tattoo. That's right. Today we are talking about the new RWBY volume. Ba-da-da-da. So this is now the 6th RWBY manga that I now own. I don't have a problem, you do. So, just to go through them, we have the very first one that came out in like 2017 or something like that. I would like to say, actually, maybe it's, I want to say maybe 2017, 2018, where basically it's quite a thick boy as well. It kind of covers the trailers, so if you know of RWBY, and each of the team members has their own little mini trailer that make out the team name of RWBY. So basically it kind of goes into that, and then kind of how they kind of start off in Beacon and basically kind of halfway through volume 1. So that's basically what that's kind of like, and the art style in this is beautiful. So this was the first manga that came out, and then it then spawned a whole load of series of anthologies, and I just realised, woohoo! So, first one being Red Light Roses, because that's the song that's in the first trailer. Then we got Mirror Mirror. There's a theme to these. From Shadows. And then I Burn. All going through little anthologies of each of lovely Team RWBY. Woohoo! So they've been coming out since 2018, and Yang's one just came out the end of last year, I want to say. So these have been nice to collect. And fun fact, I ended up with 2 copies of these because somebody bought me it, and then I went and bought it, but I didn't know that they'd bought it for me. So, oops. So but we're not talking about them because they're old. We're talking about this one. Yay! So, this is now classified as the official manga of RWBY. So it goes a wee bit in depth, slightly, of volume 1. We get to episode 8. So this whole volume covers the first 8 episodes. Granted, that is like half an hour because of the old time slots. It's so weird to think about the fact that episodes used to be like 3 minutes long. Literally just because it was just Monty basically animating it all by himself, and I think he had like maybe 2 helpers or something like that, in comparison to the team now, where there's like 50 million of them to make the beauty of it is the show now. Honestly, see, it's kind of hard to try and get people into the show because you're like, oh, it's nice and easy, you can watch this, and then it's the contrast of art styles, because oh my god, when you have the 3D to the 3D 2D, and there is no difference in between of the art styles. Not gonna lie, if you've not watched RWBY, the first 2 seasons are rough. The animation is rough in comparison to what it is now. I'm not going to lie. But there's something about it that's just kind of special. See, rereading this, I say rereading it, it feels like I rewatched the first half of volume 1, and it was so nice. And see, the art style in this, I quite like it. Like, this one is kind of similar to the show, a wee bit closer, I would say. Whereas this one's more stylized, and it's more of, yes, the characters still look the same, and like they're not like completely different, but it's just the slight differences that just make it just that slightly better. Plus, I like how in this, how they introduce the characters is when you meet when you meet Weiss for the first time, and it's like, you just see her at like a full body, and it's like her name and whatnot, and it's the same with like Blake and Yang and everything like that. I quite like that. That's quite a nice wee touch to this. And also, the first couple of pages are coloured pages. Woo! Gotta love a coloured page in a manga, don't you? Ah! And it's like just that little intro bit of like setting up the story that's like a fairy tale, and it's just so pretty. It's just nice and pretty. If only we could have like this all coloured like throughout the whole thing. But don't worry, you get to see little RWBY being an absolute badass. So it kind of follows the episodes, but not exactly. So the first, obviously, I say obviously, I need to stop saying that because obviously not everyone's watched RWBY or anything like that. So in the anime, or if you want to call it anime, I know RWBY's a very controversial one of whether or not it's an anime or not. So I'll leave that up to you, whether or not you think it's an anime or not. Comment down below. Let's see. Let's get the fight started, shall we? But yeah, so it starts off in the wee dust shop. The wee old guy is getting robbed. In the anime, or I should just say in the show, RWBY's in the shop, like she's got her headphones on, and she's just listening to, funnily enough, the opening number of the of the show. Ayo. And then it starts off the fight from there, and it's like, "Are you robbing me?" "Yeah, well, huh." Boom. Whereas in these, basically RWBY just seems to be outside the shop and sees a commotion and just goes like, "I'm just going to intervene right now. Hey, what's up? I'm a student. I'm going to kick your ass, Torchwick. Yay!" That's the criminal's name, by the way, Torchwick, because I am great at explaining this. Yeah, so that's how this opens up, and that's how I realised that it wasn't a waste buying it, because I was kind of in two minds about getting it, because obviously I've already got a version where it kind of goes over the first half of the season and whatnot, and then I've got all the other ones that kind of dive back into them slightly differently. So then it was like, right, I really want this one because I'm essentially just going to be watching the show again. Is it literally just a nice stylized version of the show? Luckily, it is not. Thank goodness for that. There's nice slight changes that make it flow better and kind of represent the characters a little bit better. So, although I was a bit hesitant about rereading it because I felt like I was maybe just going to be watching the show again, there is some lines that are from the show in it, and it's like some of the really terrible jokes. It's like one of them is when they're going to Beacon, which is the school. It's like a fighting school that they go to, and one of the teachers comes on. She's called Gwen the Good Witch, and RWBY. This is RWBY, by the way. Da-doink! I should really explain this. I am terrible. I am so sorry. So this is RWBY. She's the one that just like kicks people's arses to begin with, and then her sister is Yang. Nice wee blondie. And so they're heading towards the school, and Glenna comes on, and he's like, "Oh, who's that?" And it's like, "Hello, students, I'm Glenna Goodwood." And it's like, "Oh," it's that terrible joke. It's just like, "Oh, okay." I feel like the manga kind of grabs the personalities a lot better, like instantly. Like you kind of get a glimpse of like what Weiss is like to begin with. Who is this lovely lassie here? And then who Blake is when you first meet Blake, like her introductions and whatnot. And then like Jean when you eventually meet them. Like I feel like how they're introduced to the manga, you get a better, like a stronger feel of their personalities. Basically, well, apart from Weiss literally stands out like a sore thumb in the show. Like you literally just like, you just know she's a bitch to begin with. Like there's no getting around it. She is an ice cold bitch. She is literally nicknamed the Ice Queen. So, there is that. What I like is, like, see the episodes, like, they've got little chapter kind of covers, and they've got, like, nothing to do with the story. But, oh my god, they are so fucking cute. I absolutely love them. So, this is the one for episode 2, with RWBY on the wee side here. Like, it's so cute. So it's like, just interacting with animals. Oh, aye. This is my favourite one. It's RWBY and Weiss, and I think they're just coming out of a wee house, and on the top is a wee cat, and RWBY's trying to play with the cat. Oh, I love it. Literally, that was the one that made me fall in love with this. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. Just Ruby just saying hi to the cat. It's so good. Like, the artwork's so nice, and I really like the style of RWBY. Like, RWBY actually looks young. Like, she actually looks like a wee lassie. Whereas, like, Weiss and whatnot do look slightly older than her. Because there is a 2-year gap between them, because RWBY is a grade skipper, because she's so cool. I'm just flicking through this and I'm just like, oh, I just want to reread it again. It's so nice. Like, how everything's drawn is just beautiful. And then seeing all the moments, see, like I absolutely loved when I first watched it, like, 8 years ago, because, oh my god, it must be about 8 years ago now, because Volume 8's about to come out, so Jesus, I remember when the Red trailer, which is the first trailer, like, when that came out, like, damn, it's just... So as my perfectly, amazingly descriptive skills are, haven't really told you the actual plot of RWBY. So we have RWBY, as we've somewhat established. Basically, she wants to become a thing called a huntress, and in this world there are beasts called the Grimm. So they are basically manifestations of evil itself. Basically, they all come in shapes and sizes of, like, mostly animals and whatnot. They do get a wee bit complex later in the volumes, but to begin with, they're basically either a bird, a gorilla, or a kind of like rhino thing. Basically, that's the beginning points of what the Grimm are in the story. And basically, that she goes to a training school, which is called Beacon, along with her sister, where eventually they get put up into groups. And in the team, you get Team RWBY, and RWBY is the leader of Team RWBY. So we have RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang. RWBY. And we have lots of other teams, and some very good, some are arseholes, some are just twats, and... So, normal high school. Well, technically this is more like a uni, because most of them are almost like... The entry levels, they're almost like 18. Whereas Ruby's like 15 to begin with, so she's like going like 15, 16. So she's a baby. She's technically still not finished high school. She's actually basically going from high school to uni. Like that. Like, damn. So, and then you basically, in the end, as they're trying to sort out their teams and whatnot, because basically they get thrown into a forest and it's like, so the first person you meet will be your permanent teammate for the next 4 years. Oh, but you also have to go into the forest and find a relic, which will then determine the other pair. And it's like, okay, but oh yeah, by the way, there's a Grimm all over the place, so you better watch it because they might kill you. Yeah. That is a thing. That is a thing. So this is how good that school is. It's like Harry Potter. You know how like they have like they have Fluffy the three-headed dog, then they have the troll and everything like that, and it's like, oh yes, the Hogwarts is a very safe place. Is it? Fuck. The kids die nearly every single year. Is it fuck a safe place? So that's like RWBY in that case. So it's like, oh, here's the forest that you're meant to train in. There's Grimm. Go kill them, or they'll kill you. If you want to watch the show, you can get it on Crunchyroll. It's made by Rooster Teeth, so it's on their website. So if you want to like stay up to date, you're better going to their website and whatnot and dealing with it that side, because I don't think streaming services get it till after a season's finished. Don't quote me on that. I don't know, because I watch it through Rooster Teeth, so I don't really know how they work. It used to be on Netflix, but then it got taken down, but I don't know if it's been put back up again. So I know it's on Crunchyroll because you can watch it the Japanese version of it, which is quite cool. The fact that it made such a big hit in Japan, but there's actually an official Japanese dub for it. Like, that is just cool. Also, if you watch the Japanese one, there is bits that are taken out, like cut out. Because I started watching it and I was very confused about why there weren't certain scenes. So, warning for that. So if you want to check that out, you can check it there. Obviously, if you just want to read the manga, there is now 6 volumes of RWBY goodness that you can read. I was about to say watch. Or there are 7 volumes of the show. Please, 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 like, if you're starting the show from scratch, please, first of all, don't skip, but just bear with the first couple of volumes. It does find its feet, especially in the ways of animation. So, please. Also, Volume 3 will tear your heart apart, but you kind of need to watch the first 2 to understand why it tears your heart apart. And I'm actually not going to lie, I'm going to dread having to read that if it gets that far in this. Oh my god. But yeah, so that's RWBY, the official manga volume 1. Woohoo! What a nice wee change for Manga Monday. But we're going to go back to Dark Fantasy next week. We're gonna get that. Yeah, the girl from the other side needs to get read. It's just been like sitting there, just like waiting. It's like I still haven't touched it yet because I don't want to rush ahead. But I'm like, ooh, see how pretty the covers are. I'm just buzzing. But see, just what happened at the end, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So that's the end. Next week will be the end of Manga Monday for like consistently. Because I was just doing this for the whole month of August. So, mostly because I have no money to keep buying manga for every Monday. So, there's that. But I thought it would be nice, have we change. And something slightly different that I like. Yay! So, aye. Well, there's that. So, until next time. I'm AJ. I did something today. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.